What's going on, you guys? My name's Ty Knotts, and welcome to Top 5 Unknowns. 5 missing person cases with unexpected conclusions. Number 5. Carlos Salazar was an extremely impressive and well-respected man. He was both a doctor and a psychologist, with most of those that knew him holding him in very high regard. However, in 1996, Carlos's life changed in a way that almost no one could have predicted. He went missing, leaving behind not a single trace. The doctor from Spain had allegedly been dealing with depression and saw no escape, other than to flee and seek out a new life. For over 14 years, no one had any idea where he was, and his family even registered him on the list of individuals who went missing but are now presumed to have passed away. Though in 2015, a group of mushroom hunters from Italy stumbled upon a large amount of trash in a Tuscany forest. As they continued searching, the trash grew more and more dense, eventually leading them to a small tent. Inside of this tent was a filthy old man with a crazy beard. He was surrounded by water bottles and empty canisters. The hunters became afraid and ran away, eventually finding a forest ranger and alerting him to what they had discovered. The man happily greeted the ranger and explained to him that he was Carlos Salazar. He even still had his old photo ID to prove it. In a strange turn of events for his family, it turned out that Carlos had not passed away or been kidnapped, but rather was just hiding out in the woods for all of this time. He stated that he no longer wished for human contact, and since he had now been discovered, he needed to relocate. The two hunters managed to get a photograph of his ID though, before he wandered back off into the wilderness. They shared the image with his family and reignited their hope for his return home. His mother stated that all she wished for was for a half hour with him to get some sort of closure. However, Carlos had already been long gone by the time they could return to the campsite, and he's never been seen again. Number 4. Back in 1976, Denis Rorick was a highly respected mathematician and computer scientist who had become the victim of depression. His illness led him to say goodbye to his family and leave behind a concerning message for them stating his intentions. He then left his car, wallet, and personal documents and ran away. In the 14 years after he wrote the letter, his family ultimately gave up hope for finding him and filed paperwork with the local government to have him reclassified from missing to deceased. While disheartening, they no longer wished to fill themselves with hope of their son's return, when in reality, he had already been gone far too long to realistically still be alive. However, as it would turn out, Denis was very much alive. He'd moved to a new area and adopted a new name, living now as Leonard Cohn. Under his new identity, he had earned a master's degree and a doctorate in computer sciences, and had settled down with a family and started his own business. His wife never knew his old family, and didn't question his lack of evidence of any prior existence. His wife lived with him for over 10 years before learning the truth. Seemingly out of nowhere, Denis came clean and told his wife everything. It was Christmas time, and he spent the majority of this time telling his wife about his past and revealing to her all of the decisions that led to him leaving his old family and changing his name. He then told his wife that he was returning home to his father, and that was that. He left Martha utterly shattered by his confession, then simply walked away. He now resides at home with his original family, and there's no word regarding exactly what happened with Martha. Number 3. In 2005, a teenager by the name of Zhaoyun got into an argument with her mother. However, rather than taking the time to calm down and find her senses, she ran away and stayed away. She remained missing for 10 years, with her parents coming to the conclusion that she had either taken her own life or lost her life at the hands of someone else. After several years of searching, they finally gave up hope and admitted that she had just passed away. Though in 2015, everything changed for them. Police came across a young woman who'd been using a fake ID to attend an internet cafe. She was taken down to the station to be questioned, with her initially lying to police about her life, stating that she had been raised by her grandparents and claiming all sorts of false truths. Though she eventually opened up and confessed that she had run away from home all of those years ago and started life anew. According to the young girl, after fleeing her home, she lived in internet cafes and bathhouses. To earn a living, she sold digital video game items online and begged strangers for money. She has since returned home to live with her parents, though she was quite reluctant about this. Her parents have vowed to never argue with her again, and it seems as though she still lives with them to this day. Number 2. Winston Bride was a husband and father of 3 children. Though in 1990, he disappeared without warning. His wife set up a large-scale search party to locate him, though didn't find a single shred of evidence. It was as though he'd simply vanished into thin air. Over a decade later, his wife conceded that he had passed away and concluded her search, though she was certainly mistaken. According to Winston, while his wife was out searching for him, he had been wandering around the San Diego area with no ID and no idea who he was. He claimed that he had been suffering from amnesia. However, contrary to this, it was found out that he had legally changed his name and was making deliberate attempts to hide his true identity. He eventually was led to spend 20 years teaching at a school in San Diego. However, as soon as he retired from teaching, he claimed his memory returned to him, and he ran home to his former wife. He claimed that the memories of his past came flooding back to him in a dream, and that several internet searches revealed his previous life to him. However, his family rejected his attempts to reconcile after they learned his almost unbelievable story. They believed that he had made the entire thing up and had abandoned them willingly all those years ago. It remains unclear what exactly happened to Winston from here, but he had made attempts to get his name change reversed, yet still receive his retirement checks for being a teacher. His current whereabouts remain a bit unknown. Number 1. Christina Davison had a husband who was far from perfect. He was known to have had several encounters with the law, including multiple charges for violence. However, no one thought that he had the ability to take the life of his own spouse. That is, until 2014, when it seemed as though he had done just that. In May of 2014, Christina had vanished. The scene of her disappearance did not appear as though she had left willingly. Her bed was full of knife holes and traces of blood, and her purse was found alongside the road in an entirely different city. Her family and friends remained all but hopeless that they would find her alive, but thankfully they were wrong. 9 months after she had disappeared, she turned up in Kentucky. She had taken a waitressing job at a local barbecue restaurant and had established a brand new life for herself, with her being quite popular and well liked in this new area. Her co-workers had been told a story that she moved from Arkansas after fleeing a violent relationship. However, her lies and facade fell apart in 2015 when she was pulled over for a traffic violation. As it would turn out, she was wanted in Texas for drug charges of all things, and was arrested and brought in for questioning. She had not only crafted this new life to escape her husband, but also to escape from her previous life of crime. Police were baffled by her story, and she was eventually charged with the drug crimes. However, the question remained: whose blood was that was found on her bed? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to click that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep updated with our videos.